All right, welcome back to our tips for the trail series. These are bits of information that you might find useful when you're out there hiking. This was from a recent John Muir trail hike, section hike that my family of three did. So what we're going to talk about in this section is basically kind of tent, sleeping bag, sleeping pad, so kind of camp gear, so to speak. So to start off with, there's three of us. So that's kind of an awkward number as far as what do you use for a tent, things like that. We went back and forth, looked at a lot of different brands, a lot of different ideas. Do we do solo tents, 3 solo tents, 2 and 1, so on. And at the end of the day, what we settled on was, don't have this set up, but the Copper Hotel HV by Big Agnes. This is a 3-person tent, but the part that makes it a hotel is that it had a ginormous vestibule that went along with it. This thing weighed in right at about 4 pounds. Again, there were a little bit over 4 pounds. There were 3 of us hiking it together, so we were able to split up the weight. Each of us had about 1.5 pounds that we were dealing with. Was really pleased with this tent. A lot of guy wires to hold it down. The weight was fine. We did use the footprint on it, and we did use the fly every night because, believe it or not, the John Muir Trail, we had a lot of humidity and moisture in the evening, so you want to keep the fly on. But anyway, it was enough room for us to all fit in, and again, that vestibule worked out really great for us. We'll have to say, product disclosure, we did have an issue with the netting, did have a hole poked in it. We got this from REI. I'm sure they'll help make it right for us. If not, we've had good luck with Big Agnes before. But a big fan of that tent as far as the weight and the construction of it. So there you go, the Big Agnes Copper Hotel. All right, now what's next? When you're hiking on the trail, you see a lot of folks running around with these things strapped off their back. So this is the old good Thermarest Z Lite. It's an accordion style air mattress, or not air mattress, but it's an accordion style mattress. Keeps you up off the ground, keeps you warm and things like that, and provides a little bit of cushion. I'm pushing 50. This was a little bit lightweight for me as far as what I wanted to sleep on, but we did take one of these and, believe it or not, cut it into 3 pieces. So I think we got 5 panels, and 4 panels. What's this good for, you ask? Just a ton of stuff. You stop for a break, you have this on your pack, you throw it down on the ground, you got a nice place to sit. If you're in a dusty area and you don't want to get all your stuff dusty, you throw it down, there you go. If something's wet and muddy, same thing. So this little guy here weighs in at not even 2 ounces. And it's just a phenomenal little add-on to have. And again, 3 of us, I think this whole thing was maybe $30, so 10 or so dollars. We were good to go. It also worked great as far as when you're getting in and out of the tent. You always have all that dust and clutter going on. So it acted like a doormat for us in the evenings. So big fan of taking one of these guys and cutting it up. I do know Thermarest makes kind of a smaller seated version, but this just seemed, for the price and the practicality of it, cheaper route to go. All right, so now we got so that was not our ground cover for us. Instead, what we used for a sleeping mattress was the following. So again, we looked at a lot of these things. We've done some inflatables over the years that have deflated on us. Big Agnes had a double Z that we've had a couple of those pop on us. And this was the old Thermarest. This was the ProLite 4, weighs in a little bit under 1 pound. And we've had these things, I think, since 2006. They've just been rock solid for us, so these went on the trip with us as well. They self-inflate, which is nice. A little bit of a nuisance to roll up in the morning, but what you're going to do, again, we were thinking about the inflatable things, but after I started looking at the pricing on the inflatable stuff as well as the weight on it, it was hard to compete with this. This was competing the same weight, and I knew that these were very, very durable. Again, I've had some of the newer inflatable, fancier ones leak on me, and I did not want that to happen, so this is what worked out. Now, as far as finding campsites along the JMT, that can be a little bit tricky, and you're always going to find that nice level site. So these things kind of, with the thickness, help mitigate that a little bit. Again, getting up in years, sometimes I would hit a bump with my hip or something like that. Thinking back, what I probably should have done was maybe stick one of these guys under my hip section and see if that helped out any to give me a little bit extra comfort. But again, very, very pleased with Thermarest. Okay, now let's move on to sleeping bags. Again, what we wanted to do was getting something that was lightweight. We've been camping and backpacking for a number of years, so we kind of have a quiver of different sizes of bags and temperatures and synthetics and down and all that. But for this trip, we did go out and get all new down sleeping bags, kind of a splurge for us. And what we want to do, our main goal is to basically stay under 2 pounds. Now, what happened was is REI, or sorry, I should say Backpacker recently did a big promo or a big press thing on the REI Co-op Magma 10. This is a sleeping bag. It's a down bag. It comes in at a little bit under 2 pounds, and they got great reviews. This is a men's sleeping bag. I tried to stuff myself in it. I'm a little bit broad in the shoulders, a little claustrophobic. I just couldn't pull it off. It was just too much of a mummy bag for me. However, my son, who's 6'2" and comes in at about 170 pounds, was able to fit in here quite nicely. He was very pleased with it. It almost kept him too warm, so what he would do is keep a long sleeve shirt on at night so that if he needed to unzip and kind of let some heat out, his top didn't get cold. So this worked out really well for him, so he was very pleased with that. The women's version of that bag is what my wife wound up using. Now, she actually sleeps cold quite often, and what she has is the women's version. It's Jewel, a 30. This is the regular size. She's also a side sleeper with her knee up, but this had plenty of room for her to move around, and she was not cool in the evenings. On the JMT, it got down, I think, some nights into the upper 40s, but she was very happy with this bag as far as the temperature rating and things like that go. Myself, I really struggled. I wanted that light mummy bag, but I just, again, couldn't deal with that constriction. So what I wound up doing is I went online and found Enlightened Equipment. So these folks make different types of quilts, and I'm a huge fan of the quilt now. And there's all different kinds of things you can see here about the different types and the bedding. So I did an 850 down, and I actually went with a 10-degree bag, which was fairly cold rated, but I wanted to get some flexibility. Made it a little bit wider than usual, and so on. The whole thing came in under 2 pounds, and this thing I just cannot say enough good things about. It has a foot box that you kind of stuff your foot in, but the rest of it just wraps around your pad. So it's kind of like a big Agnes bag with the sleeve in the back that you don't have bedding on the back. But again, it's a quilt fashion, so I could throw the thing back if I wanted to. Similar to my son, I would wear a long sleeve shirt at night, and was very comfortable in this thing. Never had an issue with coldness. And again, all these bags that we have are treated so that the down would be it's supposed to have that waterproofing to it. Never put that to the test, because as far as the waterproofing goes, what we decided to do was, as we were traveling, we kept our bags in these Event, Sea to Summit Event bags. So this is a waterproof bag. It's called an Event because once you stuff a thing in there, you can cinch it down and then evacuate the air out of it. And you could get these bags down to a large cantaloupe size. So again, very pleased with this bag. A little bit pricey, but it was that insurance that we needed, that if you took a dunking or anything, you could really throw this thing in the water and send it down the way and things would stay dry. So keeping your bag dry in your pack in case you've got a dunking or a thunderstorm popped up, as well as the down treatment. We had great success with the down bags. We're very happy with those. Other things you want to keep kind of creature comforts, pillows. We did a bunch of variations, and to spend $50 on a pillow seems like a lot, but if you're going to be on the trail for a couple weeks and you kind of mitigate that over the days, and is $2 good night's sleep something that you want to do? And these things last. So I use the X-Ped. This is a little medium bag. I think I actually stole this off my son. He upgraded to the Sea to Summit Era pillow. He was happy about that. He got a medium. My wife did a large. Somehow we horse traded, and she wound up using, this is an old Thermarest pillow that's kind of just, it doesn't hardly weigh anything, but it kind of collapses down into nothing. She wound up using that as her pillow, and I think I used a combination of these things. But again, this is something you want to play around with and kind of horse trade and see what works out best. Do not be afraid to spend, $40 or $50 on a pillow. It's something that's going to last forever, or at least a long time, and it's something that's going to make you a lot happier on the trail. So there you go. That's our tips on sleeping pads and sleeping bags and tents. Hope you found that useful, and good luck on the trail.